Hey guys, welcome to another episode of Around the Table GTA. This is going to be another kind of duality episode, and I do like doing dual episodes where sometimes I preach the same message but in another light. This one's going to be kind of like a negative motivation episode. Sorry, my bad, guys. Just basically, I believe that there's a positive way to motivate people as well as kind of like a darker or more twisted way to motivate people as well. Sometimes the message of positivity or a message in a positive light is a little bit too fluffy for someone. Some people have been through really hard times and they have to hear the message in a dark way for them to get over or even take in the message, because anything that's light and fluffy doesn't help because their brain isn't wired that way. It's kind of like when someone's in a toxic area or they've grew up in a toxic lifestyle. When you're removed from that, it's something that comes off as strange. You're not as progressive in life until you go through therapy or whatever to kind of align yourself to working in a normal environment. But basically, this episode is me telling you guys that it's your fault. It's all your fault. What your plans, your goals, the things that you want to do in your life, it's your fault that it's not happening. You're not doing enough to get there. After a certain age, you kind of have zero excuse not to do the things that you want. You could blame your upbringing to an extent, but at the end of the day, the internet is so huge. If you don't have internet, you could move out. You could go to the library. You could go live in a shelter if you can't find a home so that you could get to the things that you need to do. A lot of us don't want to get uncomfortable to really achieve the success that we want. Recently, I saw this video about this animator who basically learned how to paint through the internet, and through that painting, it pushed them more into their own career, and ultimately, they were able to start a screenplay, and that was through free information on the internet. The internet, the internet library, all of that is free information. There's even things that you could do online to get courses, or even go to a library that they have full college courses so that you can learn things and maybe potentially get credits for, so that you could advance yourself. And that's for free. All it costs you is a library card, which you could sign up for. A lot of the struggles that we face as human beings is because there's things that we don't want to give up in our lives to push forward. You don't want to withhold on gratification for now for something a lot better in the future. And they've shown this in scientific studies where even with children who are able to resist that instant gratification in the future, they are a lot more successful than other children. So sometimes we have to go back to our inner child and break down certain habits that we've had. In the last episode, I was talking about the habit of getting almost to the finish line and then starting something else. And me shooting that episode, me editing that episode, encouraged me to just do another episode right after doing another episode. So you guys are going to hear this as 3 separate episodes, but I've done 3 episodes in one sitting because I kind of got tired, and I'm looking at it as like, yeah, you know what? I have to make it happen. And also, it's my fault that it's not happening. My views will eventually go up if I continue to choose to do this. But at the same time, that's a thing with anything. You need that consistency in your life, whether it's working out, whether it's searching for a job, whether it's keeping up with people. You know, I hear too much of this, oh, you know, when they message me, they'll message me. Message them if you really want to talk to them. If you don't want to message them, you don't really want to talk to them or talk about them or whatever, don't even mention it. It's not worth your time. It's also your fault. What happened to your communication? Oh, well, you know, the communication's one-sided. Okay, that's kind of also your fault for investing in that type of relationship. And sometimes it's hard to admit that, but at the same time, it's something that we have to also realize the flaws in ourselves. I've done it a couple of times too. I can't even say a couple, like a lot of times where I seem to be more invested in the conversation or hanging out with the person. There's a couple of people that I do want to see, but at the same time, I'm like, I don't necessarily want to see them. If I have to talk to you for you to even consider me, right? That's a me feeling, but at the same time, maybe they feel the same way where they don't want to approach me because they don't know how I'd feel after a long time of no talking, right? But at the same time, if you're setting things up all the time, if you're reaching out all the time, if you're doing all of this all the time, you got to think about what's happening in that relationship, right? And part of it's your fault, because a relationship it takes two to tango, right? But all of this negativity aside, it's still kind of constructive criticism. The way that we want to be treated, the way that we want to be seen, the way that we want our lives to be operated in is all based on our decisions. And if we don't choose to change certain parts of ourselves as well, people can't react to that change in your life as well. You can't suddenly expect everybody and their mom to respect you because you're tired of being talked to in a certain way. What are you doing for people to respect you more than they did yesterday? That pause is intentional. It's for you to think. What have you done for people to adapt to a change that you are embracing? Everyone kind of has their template of you until maybe you do something extreme, whether it's a positive extreme or a negative extreme. I'm not going to post any examples because, maybe I'll say something too extreme for whatever platform this ends up on and get removed from it. But you got to think of it this way. And that's the thing about certain things are glamorized or whatever, but what are you doing for you? And why does it matter how other people feel about it? At the end of the day, everything that you want is in your hands. The decisions that you make now affect your future. Even you deciding to listen to this podcast instead of doing something else could either be positively enforcing what you want to do in the future, or it could be negatively enforcing what you want to be in the future. If you're watching this to distract yourself, guess what? It's kind of shaming you into doing what you need to do, but it might be that negative motivation, that controversial motivation, that, hey, what the heck are you doing? Motivation to push you towards what you actually want to do. And that's kind of like the whole goal of this podcast, depending on what season we're in or what I feel like talking about. But it's to inspire people to an extent, whether it's to inspire them to do more, think more, or be more open to different ideas. At the end of the day, if I can't reach you, that's also my fault. Maybe I'm not advertising more. Maybe I have to put money into this, and more money into this, like digitally, so that the podcast could spread more. I had a friend tell me that maybe I should take a clip from the podcast and make it a video, put it on an Instagram reel or TikTok or whatever, so that I could spread it around. And who knows, maybe whoever's hearing this in the near or far future would be like, what the heck is an Instagram or a TikTok? What's this guy talking about? They might not even understand the language that I'm speaking right now. I love making these analogies in my episodes because it's fun, but realistically, guys, just start getting things done. I want to hear some of your goals. I want to know what you're planning to do with your life. We're all getting older, and that doesn't change for anybody. And the older I get as well, it seems that more time is passing by quickly, right? So if time is passing by more quickly, what am I doing to accelerate my goals? What am I doing to make sure that I get to where I want to get to in 1, 2, 5, 10, 15 years from now? Am I going to reach my long-term goals? Am I going to go with the flow like a dead fish in a water and hope that I end up in somewhere positive? Or am I going to maximize whatever opportunities that I have now so that I could get more later? Or am I going to even try to play it safe now so I could be even riskier later? Who knows? There's just so many options, but at the end of the day, I have to choose an option, because whether I choose this or whether I choose that, it's going to affect me. If I choose nothing, that's also going to affect me. Life is about choices. Easy choices, hard choices, no choices, dumb choices. But the sooner we make these decisions, the sooner we could realize if it's a good decision or a bad decision. And the sooner that we realize those things, we will be smarter, wiser, and we could adapt to bigger changes later in the future. So hopefully this episode helped you guys out. Stay focused, guys. Remember, if you're not serious about it, it's your fault. End of the day. See you later.